Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. We do have a little failed second entry short going on here, guys. Not gonna take it as I just sat down at my desk. I would kind of need to get my bearings about me, but if you are bullish, it's technically setting up here. Morning, Bill. Hey, Daryl. Hey, Squid. Morning, guys. Hey, Ed. Good morning. Well, guys, let's take a look at the charts here, see what we got going. Yesterday, pretty nice move up, but we didn't really go anywhere. Happened just as I called it, of still being in the range. And unfortunately, I would say the same about today. We are likely to stay here for today's action as well. Hey, Gene. Hey, Tom. So we got our all-time high up here, previous day high right here. Believe that's the previous day's low. Yes. Let's mark the opening. Sorry, yesterday's close, I mean. Hey, morning, Jesse. Yeah, who's ready to sit on their hands today? It's gonna be one of those days, I feel. All right, there's the S&P. Let's get our levels on the Nasdaq. All-time high, yesterday's high. Yesterday's low, and that is pretty much it. Still stuck in this range. All right, so there's the levels we're watching on the Nasdaq. Morning, Jeff. Hey, Shaq. Hey there, Joel. Welcome. Hey, OD. What's up? Good morning. So that failed second entry short did trigger here on the S&P. Not a set that I would necessarily take, but it might work. We had a move down. I had a break in a new low, so we were expecting a move in the opposite direction. And here the sellers have been trapped twice. Here's the first time. Here's the second time. Nice bullish bar. The reasons that I wouldn't like this are just that it's not in one leg. That's one thing that you want to see with these failures. So you want to see like kind of a vertical move that has 2 attempts lower. If you enter here You'd want to get out before that swing high. That's not a lot of potential reward. You know, 1.25, you're having to risk 2, almost 3 points. So that's why I wouldn't take it, but it is a possibility. Over on the Nasdaq, same kind of deal. We don't even actually have a nice failure set up. Looking more bearish as the EMA is rejecting here. We might get one more move down. Another reason to hold off on the S&P. So yeah, we don't have any news today, I believe. We do have a bond auction this afternoon, but otherwise news free. The big news is going to be tomorrow with CPI and FOMC in the same day. I don't know that it's going to be enough to break us out of this range. Obviously, we'll get some volatility on the initial release. But yeah, I pretty much anticipate that we're going to be more or less in this range for quite a bit. We're also entering into summer trading, which is historically light, historically choppy. We don't have a lot of overall market movement. You know, we just hit an all-time high and stalling out. Not the news I want to deliver, guys, but that is likely what is going to happen. Hey, Thomas, good morning. Morning, Neil. We got 5 minutes before the open, guys. Let's see what today brings. And I know I'm predicting a range and not much movement, but the market can always do whatever the heck it wants, and so hopefully I am wrong. Nasdaq looks like it wants to go down, really. Keeps rejecting at the EMA. If it weren't for the open here in a couple minutes, I would even be interested in taking a lower high. All right, we have 1 minute before the market open. Because of that, I won't be taking a trade even if something sets up here. Leaning for the market to make a new low again, or at least another move down. Right, there's the market open. Nasdaq moving pretty good. Had a nice green candle going. ES not moving as crazy, but it's dropping. So starting off the day with a little divergence, guys. How do you like that? Okay, I'm seeing that my chart's looking different than your guys's. Thank you, appreciate that. I will reload ASAP. Looks like we are getting a new low. Okay, my chart's reloaded there. I'm also going to reload my Nasdaq chart. Cool, thanks for letting me know, Tom. I appreciate that. Daryl, yeah, if you have lag on NinjaTrader, the best fix that I know of, there's two fixes. One, and the first thing that I would do is go to your computer settings and sync the date and time. Go to date and time and sync. That usually does it. If you need to do more, you can go to Rhythmic and sync your clock there. So those would be the two things I would do, and do frequently. All right, so definite divergence going on here. S&P made a new low. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq pushing up higher. Nasdaq definitely looking strong here. Nasdaq looks like a pretty good long. We have our first entry right here. It'd be nice to see the S&P coming up as well, though it's still going down. But we have a nice move up. Here's a pullback and first entry. One more pullback, one more entry around the EMA. Looks pretty good for me. Okay, Nasdaq is back at the EMA. See if it holds with how weak the S&P is right now. Nope. That's why you wait. S&P putting in a range. Could easily start dropping off here. We might end up having some sort of secondary channel like that. Keep that in mind. S&P just right at the bottom of that range there. Nasdaq trying to make a move higher. If it gives above the EMA and holds, gives a higher low, I'll take it, especially if the S&P starts to bounce a little bit. In the meantime, it's hydration and vitamins time. Toad asking if this is the same action as the ES yesterday. A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Kind of a drift lower, and then all of a sudden we exploded higher. So maybe that's in the cards. Nasdaq just had another move up. Okay, let's see how the EMA holds on the NAS. And again, just really wanting to see the ES do something. It's just drifting lower right now, and I am leaning towards the secondary channel. Nasdaq relenting to the selling pressure on the ES. Yesterday's low is below us there on the NAS. So far, we're still in that little range. S&P I really like for a short. If it pulls back soon, gives us a second entry. All right, we're pushing below that little channel, so this may be a steeper channel instead. Testing yesterday's low right now. Yep, we're falling off a cliff, that's for sure. Well, guys, this is a good sign, not for long-term investors, but we could have a bearish trend day. We're below yesterday's low. If that holds, yeah, could be in for some shorts all day. Jeff saying we possibly hit a measured move. Let's check it out. Yep, possibility right there for sure. And this will be pretty important here because, again, we cleared yesterday's low. We just need to see if it will hold or not. The market is pretty likely to correct back to it, retest it, and either reject and continue lower, or that could be the start of us headed up. So we're going to wait for the pullback on the S&P and see how it looks. Nasdaq has just been very, very strong, holding up really well with the S&P drop. Likely due to Apple, which is still moving higher even with all the selling pressure. Okay, here's the S&P coming back to yesterday's low. Possible second entry short for sure. So far though, this really looks just like one leg up, so we'll need to see a first entry and the second entry holding yesterday's low. All right, there is our first attempt lower. Move up, attempt lower. We just need to see one more slight attempt higher and then a bearish candle. S&P kind of stalling around the EMA while the Nasdaq actually dropping. So kind of switching gears here. Nasdaq leading the charge down. Keeping us on our toes for sure, Daryl. Really wish we would have had an entry here. All we needed was one of these bars just to tick higher and reverse. That would have been a great looking short. But yeah, rejected at yesterday's low. That's a pretty bearish sign for the S&P. On the NAS, our move down now does have a break and a new low. We are expecting a bounce here. Don't know how big it will be. May just be a small little correction before ultimately heading down again, but this is when you know you need to pause looking for shorts. And here we go. On the ES, I really don't like this channel. It's not being respected. Not that it's not being respected, it just doesn't fit very well. I think I'm gonna have to look for some sort of wider channel. That fits a little better. Let's see if we can fit it better. There we go. That seems to fit the action a little bit better. Okay, coming back up to test yesterday's low. You'll notice that we didn't really make another push down on this, so kind of is looking like we might be forming a base here. Pushing above yesterday's low here on the S&P. On the Nasdaq, we have a nice looking move up too. If yesterday's low holds on this side, I'm going to start thinking long. Even though we have a channel working down, it's a very key level. And very possible that we put in a higher low double bottom and continue higher for the day. pardon me, SPY is just testing the VWAP from the downside. Same with the Qs. And let's see if this previous day low holds here. And if it holds with the second entry long, I do like that. But we have 3 bearish candles in a row. Feels like we're going to push down below it. We'll see. There's a lower high on the S&P. If we push below the EMA, get one more feeble attempt higher. I do like that failed second entry long. First entry right here, second entry right here. Wait for a nice bearish signal bar at the EMA. Take that short. Nasdaq looks like this move may be played out. Move up, break, new high. See if it reverses here or if we'll be forced to look for some sort of wider pattern like that. Got to play the tight patterns first until something else is confirmed. On the ES, so far, yesterday's low is holding. That's a good sign. All right, new high reached on the S&P. Move up, break, new high. We'll pause looking for longs for the time being. And if yesterday's low holds one more time, I will say that I think the low of the day is in, and we can start looking on the bullish side of things. SPY is above VWAP now, as are the Qs. So again, we really just want to be watching how the market reacts here. Especially to yesterday's low. We pushed below it. Looked like we might have some continuation. Now we're above it. If this holds again, we'll for sure switch biases and be looking pretty bullish. Again, this uptrend does look played out. Move up, break, 2 legs to a new high. This is when we would expect a correction downwards. Yes, Toad, good question. Today is supposedly the last day for the 90% off sale / 97% off sale if you get the 250K accounts with Apex. I would not be surprised if they extend it because of all the rhythmic issues. I know it's affected some people being able to pass on time or take advantage of the sale, so I kind of expect that they will extend it. But, you know, can't bank on that necessarily. All right, Nasdaq starting to have that correction, it looks like. Again, we have this move up, break, new high. This is when we would expect the market to correct. Starting to get that now. Yeah, Toad, that's for sure. Like, the rhythmic issues I know have been frustrating for people, but Apex has always been good about resetting accounts if needed or making it right somehow. Joel, nice idea. Yeah, there is big news tomorrow, so that would be a good time with the sale ending today and news tomorrow. Load up on some accounts, try to get some past with the news. If the S&P still goes up here, we will start to look for some sort of secondary channel. This wider channel looks pretty good. So let's see how long sets up here, guys. I'm not sure if we can achieve the same thing on the Nasdaq. This would probably be the only wider channel option. So the Nasdaq still looks played out. Nasdaq for sure getting choppier. The ES looks a lot better right now. Jeff calling a drop here. Okay, okay. We'll see how the EMA holds. Yeah, if we slice down through this, I could definitely lean towards a new low being formed. If we all get out and help push the market. Yep, it's like a car that's broken down. Just get out and push, man. Gonzalo? Yeah, I kind of just talked about that. It's hard to say. Is this down? Because this is happening all right around this key level of yesterday's low. So we had this move down. I kind of am reading this like an overshoot, especially with the triple bottom. So you didn't have a lot of follow through on this channel. When we drew it wider, there was a lot of space at the bottom. You even retested the previous day's low, weren't able to make a new low, and then we pushed higher. So my first inclination is that the low of the day is in and that we can look bullish. However, if we get a strong move below the EMA, that could show that bears are engaged, sellers are engaged, and the new low might be the play. But so far it's looking like the low of the day is in. And we can, I mean, it's going to be mixed trading either way. We're still in a range, right? Zoom out, always zoom out. We're still in a range. There should be opportunities on both sides. So, yeah, just follow the most recent channel is what I would say. And right now it's bullish, so I'm thinking bullish. Definite lack of follow through, Jesse, for sure. Still waiting on that pullback here on the S&P. Yeah, this long on the S&P is going to be looking really good if we can get a pullback. This uptrend looks great. Very consistent, tight price action. We just need a nice pullback to get in on it. Nasdaq still drifting higher. We can start considering possible secondary channel there. Want to keep this level in mind. That swing high, we're coming up right against it. Come on, S&P, pull back for us here. Starting to get a pullback here. Feels like we're just going to get a push to a new high here. We'll see though. Nasdaq continuing to respect that secondary channel we drew. Barely poking above that swing high now. Oops. So far, not getting that pullback. We got a break of the channel, but we're starting to drift higher. Not what you want to see. Gotta be patient on this stuff. We could possibly draw the channel a little bit differently. Something like this might fit better, like a spike and then a secondary channel. And that also, oh sorry, you're not looking what I'm looking at. Something like this might fit better. Spike here, secondary channel, and you can see that's matching the EMA a lot better. AOD asking NQ trying to gap fill. Looks like it. Gap is pretty close there above. ES2. Well, not close, but it does look like it's headed that way. We're still 20 points away there. It'd be a cheap short up there. Yeah, I wouldn't think of it like that. If we get up there, we could have some continued movement to the upside. Maybe a cheap short, but not a high probability short. Nasdaq. If it pulls back and the EMA holds, I do like a long here. Same on the ES, watching it on both. Still cannot pull back. Man, oh man. This kind of has the price action, guys, that just has a big red candle out of nowhere. I know someone mentioned like a slow grind higher. This is not like a slow grind higher kind of day. Yes, this last this price action, the last half hour or whatever it's been, has been a slow grind, but this is not a slow grind day. Keep in mind we have this huge gap above. Here's all the overnight action. This is not trending overall. And yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but I've just seen this kind of pattern a lot where you get this chop up, chop up, chop up, and then boom, big red candle. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but yeah, on a pullback, you really do want to see the EMA hold, and it's not just like a buy randomly kind of day. Yes, thank you, Jonathan. We do have the 10-year auction at 1 p.m. Other than that, we are news free today. Well, I hope some of you are riding this thing out. I mean, if you got in this early, this is definitely a runner that you can just hold. I don't see a setup personally to get in it, but you know, if you did via your system. I'd still be interested in a long if it sets up. The Nasdaq is very, very close to that gap fill. Nasdaq almost, it maybe even has filled the gap if we look closer. No, not quite, but very, very close to filling the gap. All right, so finally getting a pullback on the S&P, and we have our first entry, our first attempt higher. As you can see right here, pullback, first entry. Let's see, one more pullback, one more entry, and this could be a great trade. Nasdaq officially filling the gap here. Will be interesting to see if we get continuation or reversal. Come on, S&P. One more pullback, please. Nasdaq blowing through that gap and coming up on yesterday's high. And already we have a new high on the S&P. So these pullbacks are just not strong enough to get back to the EMA and get us an entry. And that's okay, guys. This is not something you want to chase. Yeah, no solid opportunities in this trend. It just keeps going. But I promise you, the second that you try to chase it is when it's going to reverse. You go, ah, you know what? I'm sick of waiting. I just got to get in. This keeps going. You enter right here. And that's usually when it's going to start correcting. Funny how we as retail traders very good at predicting reversals simply by buying something. Nasdaq above yesterday's high, peaking above it now. See if this holds. All right, boys and girls. Well, you know what I'm waiting for. Just need a solid pullback on the S&P. And I'm probably not even going to need a really great entry. As long as you got 2 legs back and it's at the trend line at the EMA. I think it's going to be a pretty good buy. Watching the Nasdaq, though, because it is right at yesterday's high. It's where we could get a reversal. ES still has plenty of room to go fill the gap. So yeah, monitoring the pullbacks, and if it looks good to buy, we're gonna buy it. So yeah, I'm gonna head over to Discord. We're gonna hunt down those setups. Would love to see all of you guys in there. That would be awesome if that team could grow. So consider joining. Link in the description, all that. And again, tomorrow is news. Good chance to try to pass some evals, and today's the last day of the sale so far, unless they extend it. But good timing to pick up some accounts, look to pass them on tomorrow's volatility. But yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. Should be interesting, should get the market going a little bit, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, safe trading day. See you next time.